I'm telling you, my back's hurting now. I'm like, I need to sit up. Hello. Okay, we are here to do Virgo. Beautiful Virgos in the house. How are we this month? Well, we're going to see. Now, for those of you that don't know, these are channeled messages. I'm a psychic medium, as well as I may connect in aspects of messages from your loved ones that are passed over. And I'm also going to connect in with aspects of astrology. Now, this is for singles and couples. Singles more so from the perspective if you have a love interest in mind and you're tuning into them. And we're going to see what some of the subject matters of that is, and those of you in contact or in a relationship. Let's have a look. Okay, that's up there. Now, the ruin you have that has been selected. Now, I'm not even going to say what it is because I'm not even going to try and pronounce these, but I will link into what it connects to. You also have Tiger Iron as your crystal for the month. I am grateful for other people's good fortune. It brings me joy to see others experiencing happiness. I'm going to tune into that one. Okay, the self, individual family member, friendship, association, rational intelligence, race memory. It's for the upright. Transcendental consciousness and spiritual healer. And it does connect to shamans as well as depression, mortality, blindness, and self-delusion. Some of you, I do feel, there's an interesting kind of frequency coming through with you. And I'm just going to put one up because it blocks the chat sometimes. So I'm just going to put that up there in case the chat lagged because we've got a storm over here. I am feeling some of you are going through a deep spiritual transformation. Some of you could be spending a great deal of time in hibernation. Now, this doesn't have to be due to the fact of what's going on in the collective at the moment. It might be due to some emotional things you're going through, or regression work, or dark night of the soul energy. And this could be even due to current situations you're in. I do feel through this process, if you're on the lower spectrum and you're feeling that you're quite down, it is something that you're going to move out of. But it does feel like it has been this never-ending cycle. I'm also feeling there might be someone you go to for spiritual advice. There can be others of you who you might be starting to be guided towards that. Seeing the spiritual reasons why things synchronistically happen, I'm hearing. I also do feel, if you tap into readings, or, and you have a particular reader, and I'm not talking about now, I'm talking in general, if you have a particular person you go to, potentially you may be second guessing yourself and you need to get guidance somehow. In a sense of the shaman healing, it can be I'm hearing bloodline energy. This can be something you innately have inside you. But there's something in a sense that you're spiritually coming to terms with. So, the term isolation. A lot of you are thinking back to, where you were many moons ago, to where you are now. In a positive sense, if you can see the light in that, it should start to look quite positive. Part of you is seeing patterns. You're definitely breaking patterns. You're definitely doing a lot of transformative energy work going on. If you find yourself very busy on the outside of you, I feel somehow you're going now, you have been for a while tapping to the inside of you. You're attempting to move to the outside to reconnect, but then you're coming back and you're going more so inside. It's really interesting. It's very, like we look at your placements because it's very spiritual. Okay, now these eclipses are going to hit that because you have Leo in the 12th house. So I do find this can be a month where psychology can really come up for you, where your mind is very strong, but you maybe don't potentially look at it that. You do have very strong beliefs. Sometimes that can scare people, but that's very, it's undercover, so to speak. I feel you hide that. I do feel at a very psychological level, you have a lot of hopes and dreams inside yourself, but, you know, part of that's about meditating on it, really tapping into that energy, and you'll find that this cycle is really helping you with Sagittarius. So the first eclipse is going to be in Sagittarius. So for you guys at a spiritual level, I do feel your home. There is something closing out to do with home. And I'm also feeling as well it's going to generate income. So some of you might be looking at moving home, or directly there can be revenue coming from that. But it's finalising something to get it there. So, if you're finalising any aspect associating to home, be it you're trying to sell a home or prepare or whatever that be, move, any subject matters linking in there, you know, really looking at your physical psychology, you could be doing a lot of spiritual work linking in with home energy altogether. But there can be money coming from that energy. Also, you know, working as your energy at a financial level. You could even do work in the energy of psychology, you know, working in domestic areas. That also may have been where you were before, where it got you to today. Oh, there you go. But you're looking at that of where you were. It's almost like it does. Some of you are moving into a more holistic kind of way of looking at life. And I think all of what you've learned, it's, you know, it's all going to make so much perfect sense as you transition forward. So I think even if you're talking in layman's terms, and I mean, Giggle and I were doing this the other day. So sometimes I think to myself, I do have a lot of Virgo, but I don't have Virgo really that much in my chart. From the perspective, because Librans and Virgo energies can be very synchronistically similar, you're sort of looking at life in a very reflective sense. You're looking back potentially at the careers you did, the places you've been, how you've grown, and you know you wouldn't go back, but it's given you so much at the same time. And it is really casting these energies out. So for you, there can be a lot of you know, really putting that energy to bed, really, you know, you've done psychology work on yourself, you've done emotional healing on yourself, you've been on the inside, you've been on the outside. It might have been very chaotic. Some of you, even where you are, because it is 4th house placement with the Sagittarius moon, you may be assessing whether it's healthy for you. Is your home healthy? Do you have healthy boundaries? What's coming up in your mind? Is it a better environment? If you're fluid and you're accepting of all things are changing, that's fine. You know, don't stress too much of it. If you directly feel it's very suppressive energy, it will directly be something you'll deal with, and there'll be very healthy boundaries. Now, pertaining to your luck, universe is saying that, you know, mother-father energies and loved ones on the past over side, they're making reference to your romance, also to children, and you wanting to have better luck in life in general. You know, are things going to get better? There is a location overseas. Now, this location overseas, you had a spiritual connection to. This can be with a loved one. They're saying, be it you go there in the 3D or you go there in your mind's eye, they are with you there in that energy. You're still undecided if you will ever return there. And they're making reference to, they're aware of that, but they're wanting you to know that your relationship and the energies to that degree are going to get much better. And they feel around that time moving forward. And I'm feeling this could be 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 years. It could be there could be a return to that energy. But there is a look at that and you're still meditating it and reaching it, a whole energy. Now, they're also making reference to your health. Caution, sometimes you guys can be very strict in that department, but I do feel there's this importance to connect to people. And you have a global vision. You have a way in which you look at things. You have a way in which you sense people's energy. And I do feel, although sometimes you feel you need to heal yourself deeply, I do really feel you underestimate yourself and you're already moving into shaman energy. Your health, Saturn's asking you to look at your health. I do feel Saturn in Aquarius is like you're making healthier choices. You're listening to your intuition. You're moving into that vibration. I do feel a lot of these health targets and balance. For the next 4 months, you're guided to really look at that and look at the emotional energy surrounding it. Where are external energies and even maybe connecting in with energies? Potentially, I'm seeing an integration back. So there is this frequency where if you've been in a lot of lockdown energy, maybe doing a lot of psychology energy work on yourself, you're kind of moving into this energy where you're going to be venturing back out. That's regardless of what's happening in the collective. Maybe talking and becoming a little bit more social. With that, I do feel you're going to see how far you've come because you're going to operate differently when you are at a better frequency and you've understood yourself, you've made peace with things. When you are mixing with people, naturally, it's almost like your auric field is repelling negative BS. It's just like water off a duck's back, not taking things so personal. And it's not so much as personal. Sometimes it can even be vibrational where you feel the vibration in general, so it can feel very overwhelming when you're around certain people. And I just feel that's really washing away. It's really being rid of you and cleansed of you. Anything that you have seen in another person previously, and this is a long time ago, it's a belief system that was ingrained in you, it was something you really wanted to achieve, might have been a hope or a dream. They're saying that dream of what you saw in many other people, it might have been you had a perspective that everyone was having better relationships. That, why could you not be a cookie cutter and fit in just like everyone else? And I'm really being shown that you won't have that energy anymore. You will realize that you're having a very good relationship with yourself. That is the first space of a connection. A lot of us don't tend to do that till much later on in life. And I feel as though you're really just making peace with who you are and everything you are, and you're moving into that energy and really, really fiercely moving forward. Now, there can be some money coming in during the Cancer eclipse, but I also feel you guys are going to have a huge hunch when it does come to money, generating things. And this has been pretty tough, even being motivated in the career sector, potentially over the last 2.5 years. I do feel you guys have been really doing a lot of integration work, and maybe a lot was going towards family, a lot was going towards other energies and situations and providing. I'm also seeing even beauty work, tapping into beauty work, especially with Cancer in the 11th house. But you need that connection. You need that tribe orientation energy for that to generate. I am feeling after the Cancer eclipse, just be mindful of your money around that time. But I am seeing this as a brand new beginning, and this is where really for you guys over the next few years, I do feel tapping into that. Anything health related, anything group wide energy. This can be sports energy. It can be motivation of frequencies, of groups, motivational speaking, holistic approaches, anything to do with what you see as a trend. If you're having hunches about it this month, I think it's really going to benefit you, and it'll be there for quite a while. Just in case it's jammed again. Okay, so as I mentioned, with this, any emotions that are coming up, look at, don't be critical on yourself. Anything that you see in another person that you are like, if there's any energy of jealousy coming up or anything to that degree, know that you're entitled to this and it is coming. That dream, and especially placement of the 11th house, I am seeing that you guys are at this temporary standstill. Both the spiritual energy as well as the financial benefits that are coming to you are going to be very large. So any backward motion, any hopes and dreams dashed, they're all coming back to the table. They're all spiritually being come to terms with. Again, jealous energy, it's not to do with you want more. It's to do with more maybe you feeling you got the evil eye on you and you're cursed. It's more you're moving into shaman energy. And so a lot of this adversity that you experienced is really to bring you to this very spiritual place, but you potentially might not be seeing it. You know, there may have been a lot of manipulation energy around you. I'm feeling you just, certain workplaces won't work for you anymore. You've moved beyond that point. Don't try and fit yourself back into that. It just doesn't resonate with you. And with astrology at this point, once you've reached a certain point in your life, there's no going back. It's a bit like the, what's it called? The Hermit card. You look at the card, there's no turning back. So even if you don't feel you have direct clarity on it, you definitely know what you didn't like. So whatever you didn't like, please don't go back to, because it's just not going to serve your frequency, especially since some of you have been really clearing a lot. Once you do reintegrate, you're going to be more prepared to deal with energy work with other people. Now, when I say energy work with people, it doesn't mean to say you're going to be an organic healer or anything to that degree. It's more even dealing with human beings as per se. Because when we can be quite triggered and we're in that Lilith and Pisces energy, we're not at our highest vibration, so things can irritate us. But there is certain career fields for those of you that left that a very long time ago. I think if you asked yourself, you probably wouldn't go back to them. I'm mindful of the energetic connection between others and myself. And I think those of you that are moving through that, if you didn't know and you've landed here, yes, the further into the journey I'm getting, I'm aware that we are very, very connected, that what we think, you may get a phone call or you think something and you get a song coming on. The mind is a very powerful thing, so it really is like a magnet. So all those lower frequency thoughts we have, they're very humanistic. It's normal, but the tools that I give you guys is to help you move out of that. Some of these things you may not have all the answers to, and that's okay with clear quartz. But I do feel, it's almost I'm seeing smoke and mirrors. It's like, try not to lie to yourself, to fit yourself back into a certain package. If it's just not you, be in acceptance. And trust me, once you come to acceptance of that, all those magical doors that are coming are going to open up to you, and that's what it's feeling. And it's like that is the abundant energy, the energy of trusting, plus knowing your spiritual and financial worth. So if you feel you're being underpaid, don't accept it. We'll be doing something about it. And I do feel for you, especially moving into 2020 and the end of this year, is going to be actually quite beneficial for you. Now, in your family domain, they may have certain opinions and, have a perspective and a perception of what you should be doing. You may at times feel that you are criticised and it is spoken with love and earnesty. Maybe it does come through in a very cross-wide sense. And I feel deep down away from ego, you're aware of this, but at times it can really frustrate you. Sometimes you feel a little bit manipulated. And it can even be that this is what people are saying to you. Are you sure you're making the right decision? Don't you think this means this and that means that? And I feel around the Cancer moon, you guys are really going to know exactly how you feel. This potentially might trigger you slightly up until that point. But moving through this month, I do feel you're moving forward and you're really going to tap into your own direct intuition and have your own mind's eye. And I feel many of you are already doing that, where You're more thinking in layman's terms of how you want something or how you feel about something over how others want you to be. Yeah, moving above and beyond it. Some of you might be dealing with Cancer, and that can be a family member, Cancerian zodiac sign. Others of you, it could be a Pisces. Some of you, it might be a Taurus energy, and these can be yours placements too, but your mindset, regardless, is coming more from the perspective of, look, I'm moving forward. I'm really going to sit with my energy and tune into how I feel about maybe what you said. But you're going to be really intuitive this month, and some of those things could really kind of make you feel a little bit freaked out. Really feel career for you guys is changing and moving. And it is going to be quite large for you. If you had a hope or dream and you haven't achieved it yet, I feel over the next 2.5 years it's really going to be developed. And I do feel this is more communication orientated. It might be networking. It can also be on technology. Oh, wordy. Just wait. Now, karmically speaking, what you need to know, stagnation is always there. It's not a no. It's the delays are there. How do they say it? Rejection is the universe's protection. Some of you, from an experience, you feel all doors are closed. They're not closed. You're going through a shedding. So the shedding is of what needs to go is being dealt with. There is a time to be internalizing, which can sometimes be very 5D, and there's a time to be 3D, and we need to know directly when that is. When we're in the vibration of longing, it means we are not in that vibration of having. So it is the beginning stages of believing in new things, believing in dreams, and also looking at, how do I put it? I do feel it's during Neptune retrograde. You may find that you'll do deep reflection over some of these things. Now, that's really, it is connected to your relationship sector. So don't be surprised if you may be having very unusual dreams. And some of them, I am feeling it's not so romantic. It's a bit weird. They're weird dreams that you naturally, if you could tune into something and go to bed, it's like you wouldn't want to. They're unusual, odd, freaky dreams. Now, it's to see something from a different perspective, and it can even be if you're in a spiritual connection where they're thinking these things and seeing the oddness of some of their behavior, and it's kind of coming through in your dream state, and it's because they're purging it. They didn't see it in a particular way. It's going to come through in your dream state. Some of these things can be fears that you hold, and they're coming through in very odd dreams. You're also going to have a realization of your power. So it is mind over matter. I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. It's got a few messages. I do feel some of you are having mini premonitions. If you have sent a message out into the universe to heal a situation, I do feel this is happening. It's like, even if it was just me, I wish this thing was sorted. It sort of feels like that's occurring quite instantly. Because you've asked for it, you've detached, and it's transforming. Shanice, I prefer you not in the kitchen when I'm working. I've got one more left. Those of you that are single and not in communication, and I've got those of you in communication but not the connection or in the relationship. Okay. So that's going to be healed. It's like you've said it, you're like, oh, look, it's like you're so tired that you've asked, and you've just gone sort it, like just can they come back healthy, or can they be better, or whatever it be. That's sort of what it's got going on. Can they see things from a holistic, healthy perspective, or something like that? You guys just want to be happy. You want this to come full circle. You want to be able to have a celebration. I'm also seeing around, okay, this can be a person's birthday, an anniversary. Now, whenever I see this card, I'm also seeing, okay, there is going to be some sense of a change, and I'm seeing nighttime. I'm seeing a group of people making food in a home, and there is a phone call. And it's odd because this feels more tribe energy, or wherever you are energy, and you're having a meal, and it's not, the power might be out or something to that degree. And that's another energy I've been picking up on, power going out. Let's not tune into that. I feel during this time you're going to hear something that's going to make you feel very happy. Some of you, this can even be a memory back to an evening dinner, maybe very casual, nighttime, a candle on, and it might just be, after work sort of thing. You've ended the week, you've caught up at a birthday, it might have been yours or theirs. It seems to be a memory. Yeah. You were hoping things would have worked out, but then something to do with home changed. Right now where you stand, I feel you're getting bored of the same old story. And you feel it's been going on quite a bit, and this card being a 4, 2020 is a vibration 4. You want this to take on its new energy. You want it to take its full form. You do feel it would have taken this turn by now. You don't feel it's been taken from you. You feel it hasn't come back full 360 since. I'm hearing you can't take what isn't given. So I don't know what that relates to. But again, it's saying it's not over. It's not over. So this change, I do feel there's conflict here. This person is really dealing with some conflict. Now, there could be some tension. There could be something to do with, you may feel they're not fighting. Okay. Whatever they're fighting, it feels fighting towards a past tense scenario. So they don't want to bring that with them to you. They're ending this. They're also, again, trying to end it and not bring drama. They're trying to be the good guy. That's what I'm hearing. Trying to be the good guy. The next time you see them, they're not going to look too flash. They may have lost weight or just look very drawn. But, I feel they're going to be fine. It's just it was a very testing time for them spiritually. Okay, separate energy. There's a friend who directly has been assisting them with this. They're giving them a woman's perspective. This is what I'm hearing. They've also cut communication with these separate energies. And they're working very hard to try and block out the white noise. They're waiting for this person's energy around them to subside, because they don't want any surprises. They're like, they're needing to, after the fact of all of this is said and gone, to just gain some space, to gain some composure, to bring the happiness back inside them, because it's actually been very testing on them. Yeah, it's conflict, high strung, yeah. taken longer than they wanted. So even, yeah, it just feels frustrating. I'm telling you, it feels frustrating. Oof. Headaches. Yeah, lost faith in it. They also feel that you've lost faith in them. But overall, their biggest issue is this past tense situation that has really not, in their mind, served a purpose. Okay. How do they feel about you? Well, came out twice. They feel very stuck at the moment. This card's in reverse. So part of their hopes and dreams, they can't achieve them yet till this is sorted. But this is where it's more so to do with the past. They're looking back and they're wishing that they could have been prepared back then, but it wasn't. There was something up in the hood. Let me see. This is really where they're moving into magician energy, and I'm sort of feeling as though they're realising how actually, okay, something to do with finances they're sorting. They're realising how to achieve something, how to tie up a loose end, and with that, I do feel movement, and I'm feeling more home movement or locational movement. I don't feel this is about career. I feel this is to do with the contract and a changing of it to free themselves to move in a healthier direction. You know, so that they can actually be more playful, be more free, and be more reciprocal in that energy. They've really found that in seeing everything they didn't want, they've seen everything they did want in you. So if you feel, you know, this hermit time away, they've seen the yin and yang of everything, and they want you to know that it's really given them a lot of clarity and they're ready to take a leap of faith. And I think it's going to be near the Cancer eclipse with the 0 degree. Don't be surprised if you get communication. They're not wanting any more karma. Yeah, they're not testing universe anymore. They're not testing fate. Look at this. Look at the way he's waving to the past, or she's waving to the past, looking to the future, like lesson learned, bye. They're in duality. Okay. Leaving a toxic situation, potentially there was a betrayal in a previous connection. It could have even happened with you. But I'm feeling more in relation to this person who's blocking their path. It's a dealing with situation. It has caused them a great deal of angst and stress. Yes, there was an immaturity. There may be family involved, but they are picking up the pieces and recouping. So this recuperation energy is occurring, but it's really being pushed by the 2 eclipses. Now, especially with the Jupiter energy, more so for masculine energies, you would need to look at their Mars and Jupiter placements. So look at that and see what zodiac sign it's in. Feel free to ask a question. Yes. When's the Cancer eclipse? It is on the 21st of June. You'll probably find the energy a week beforehand because the 0 degree point could still come up earlier in a resonance field, so it can be a week either side. Okay? Communication movement. 3D change. Those of you in communication, there is some discord that is taking both you and this person out of balance for a little bit. Same thing. By the eclipse, I am feeling that your energy of what your life is supposed to be is going to be back in balance. There is going to be 2 situations to balance though. And these two situations can be based on a past tense situation and a new. It can even be arduous, trivial details that need to be dealt with to tie certain things up. Where you thought something was going one way, now it's going in a very different direction. I feel very certain energy. Remember, always happens on the internal first, external. Don't get stressed out if no contacts there, because I'm saying worst case 3, however that relates. Don't know what that means. Okay, this is going to be very protected. I'm feeling more so, yes, you're going to need to be independent. You are independent. You've done a lot of work on yourself, but you need to be an independent thinker when it comes to making a decision to do with this connection. You've got to take the mature approach. You need to look at this from a rational point of view. This can also be connecting in with a teen or a young adult that is a female. There could be something to do with that, and looking at, hey, are they prepared, etc., etc. If you have children. Okay, this is an offer coming in. For those of you in the connection, I do feel a lot of the clutter. 2 areas are going to go on. You're going to need to be pretty independent within the connection. Try and take your busy schedule not so busy. The not so busy times make quality time for each other, but it's going to be pretty busy. It's the devil in the detail, trying to deal with work-related dynamics and potentially, depression caused by that, because you are going to need to be quite independent during this time. But, both of you have the energy to achieve this. It's about not getting into your head and listening to that clutter and chatter. Yeah, just take direct action. Deal with what you can, but also look at your mind of how it's working, because that's going to start telling you stories. You're going to start saying, here we go again, bloody. Try not to do that because it's not going to serve you, especially not during these eclipses. It can really cloud your mind and really create imbalances. Any questions? One more to go. I'm telling you, I'm craving chocolate. I don't know why. And I'll probably eat it and be like, ugh. Water. I'm going to get my soda water. That's what I need. Detach and be busy. Any questions? If you see ones, it's just in case the chat's stuck. I've noticed it helps. So if you have a YouTube channel and the feed keeps lagging, press something and step back from the computer, because it tends to bounce it back sometimes. Yeah, I know, right? I do love, I feel like it, but then I'm like, when you don't really want too much, maybe yogurt or something cool and refreshing. Something to zip me. Zing! I'll have some soda water or bubble water. Any questions? I'm telling you guys, when you're finished with your spiritual transformation, I'm coming for a reading. It's always good for a reader to go outside their ego and to actually go to another reader. At times, just for that spiritual check-in. Especially when you get synchronistic messages. It's like, yeah, I can't fault. So thank you for that confirmation. Go away and do the work. That's okay. The next one's Capricorn. I'm going to take a little break. If you have to go to sleep, I understand. I'm sorry for keeping you awake if you're getting the ding-ding notification. For those of you that do click the bell. Otherwise, keep an eye on the community tab for the other updates, because we've still got moon energy to do. We have, what else do we have? Twin flame updates first. Yeah? Oh, thanks, hon. Take care. I'll be back soon. I said I'd try and get these done today. I've got to get them done.